Welcome to another edition of Mike and Scott's BS Session, home of the latest news in the bass fishing industry. So pull up a chair and get ready. This is not your mama's fishing show. Okay, enough of the blah, blah, blah. Here's Mike and Scott.
Gonna love it. It's crazy. Welcome back to this week for an unscheduled but spectacular show this week, Scotty. We've got the King of Kings.
We're going to play not once, but twice.
Yes, it will.
Because we're going to replay the show next week also.
Yes, it will be replayed next week because you are on Lake Oneida next week. And
Oneida.
Is it Oneida or Oneida?
Oneida. I believe it's Oneida.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Lake O. You're on the Big O.
No, the Big O's Okeechobee.
Okay.
Don't screw everybody up here. We're going to get all confused. I'm going to end up driving to Florida instead of New York.
Do we have Loïc? Is Loïc with there? Can we hear him?
I'm on.
Oh, yeah, Loïc. Here he is. Yeah, Loïc. What's happening, buddy?
Not much, except that we're hosting a very awesome show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy show tonight, actually. We're going to have the King of the Kings here, right? Jim Saric, who I think has probably hooked more muskie than we've ever seen in our life, never mind landed in a boat, so it's going to be pretty spectacular. And so I'm really anxious to get him on the show tonight and see what he does, you know? See what he does.
Yeah, you and me both.
Before we get into talking with Jim, though, there's a couple other things we want to bring up tonight, Scotty, and some of them is the local water conditions, which essentially have stayed high.
Yeah, water levels have been high since the very beginning of the season, right through the spawn and into the summer.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's going to be backing down anytime soon. I've been talking to the guys that have been out there fishing on a regular basis. Speaking to Anthony Badham today, and Anthony had a good day in the water. He was out with a couple of people, and he caught some fish, and the fish are starting to move into their traditional spots.
Catch fish.
Yeah, you can catch some fish. Yeah, and so he said he had a good day. Put some pictures up on Facebook and doing good there. And I think it was our buddy Benji said he was on a 20 to 23 pound bite on Francis for on was it Morrisburg?
Yeah, well, because I think the Econo Bass tournament is on.
Is it at
Morrisburg tomorrow?
Okay, so
it's actually Morrisburg, but
yeah, well, it's in Cornwall. They're going up
out of Cornwall.
So they're we're hearing here. Actually, Loïc is telling me that he can hardly hear you.
What else is new?
Yeah, what else is new?
I don't know what happened between the time that we had good sound.
Yeah,
and I hear myself talking.
You do? Okay, so maybe you want to unplug that and go on to this. So while Scotty is...
It's been a good idea to start something new here tonight.
Well, it was fine there before. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I'll talk to everybody. And we're gonna set up the external mic for Scotty, and we're gonna keep going. Here, take this, buddy. So how's that, buddy? How's the sound there?
Sounds good on my end.
All right, great.
All right, so we're back in action.
There you go. Oh, what is the link to the show tonight? I got Matt Benton asking me for the link. Just give me
we haven't heard from Matt in a long time. What's
I know. Yeah, Matt's been cruising on the West Coast, buddy. Let me just get him the link here. Command C, and we'll close this down, and we'll go back to Matt. And
so what were we talking about before we had that?
We were talking about water levels.
Oh yeah, water levels
and water temps, and the temps are really starting to climb now because we've had some warm weather. But
we
had cold nights.
Lake Champlain, we had water temps all the way up to 86 degrees.
Well, there you go.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
86 degrees. I don't even take a shower at 86 degrees.
What's the muskie fishing like at 86 degrees, Loïc?
You don't fish for them, period.
Really?
Honestly, they actually, some of them will still, they'll still go, but you pull a muskie out of the water in 86 degrees after it's fought, it's dead.
Really?
Even if you don't pull out, they overstress themselves so much, and when the water's hot, 86 degrees, that's pretty a sure death right there. And I mean, that's my opinion, and I'm sure we can relay the question to the man when he comes on later.
And
I guess that's a good question.
And are they easier to catch in the hot water, or are they tougher to catch?
I find them tougher to catch personally, but I don't know if that's just because the way I fish. When it's too hot, I find it gets tougher. Like warm water is good, but too warm, something happens. They kind of become, their feeding windows, I find, shorten up. That, or they just start feeding when the sun is not that excruciatingly hot, which means like probably at night. That's probably why a bunch of guys start catching fish at night.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, well, we can hear Scotty's dog barking in the backyard.
He's barking at Ben 2 fences down.
Probably.
He's going after the Asians.
So, as I said,
I was actually talking to a buddy. I was talking to a buddy of mine today about this, about the conditions on a lot of lakes, and it's funny. We have like the same perspective. You guys can tell me if you've seen the same thing. It's funny how because of such high water this year, a lot of places where normally you have good weed growth that would become like an early to midsummer area or spots to hold fish did not get weed growth at all because the water was so high all spring. So now that the spring and early summer spots are kind of slowly dying out and the fish would tend to move out to those secondary zones, those secondary zones have like no cover. They have nothing for them to relate to because now the water level has dropped.
Yep.
And they're stinking hot and no weeds. There's nothing.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
They're not all.
It definitely makes sense. You're getting a lot less light penetration to the bottom, to the ground. And not only that, but because of all the runoffs and all the high water, you have dirty water. So that causes even less light penetration. So some of those areas that usually get weeds in like 18 feet of water, because it's so murky and now it's no longer 18 feet but 22 feet, you're not getting that weed growth.
It's going to be slower.
It is.
It's going to be slower. And I think you saw that phenomenon on Lake Champlain too.
I did see it in some areas. Lake Champlain, the water levels are definitely high, but very, very clear.
Okay.
So there is still substantial weed growth.
Some good light penetration.
Especially in areas that are 10 feet and less. 10 feet of water and less, I mean, the weeds are thick.
Right.
So it didn't really change all that much in some areas.
Gotcha.
But some of the, I guess, the deeper spots, which I really didn't get a chance to explore all of it because the bite was pretty shallow as opposed to deep. I think probably would have suffered from that exact scenario, yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well,
absolutely.
Well,
it's quite a surprise when you're not on the water constantly every day or every week, and you stop fishing for 2-3 weeks, and you are on a late spring, early summer pattern, and you get back out there, and you're like, okay, they're probably not there. You go check, sure enough, they're not, and then you go to that early summer, they're not there either. Did they are they skipping the phase? Or are they in between? I don't know. I mean, I wish I had more time to spend on the water to find out, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's trial and error. You got to get out there. The more time you spend on the water, the better feel you'll have for the area. I was talking to Dale Brown last week or 2 weeks ago, before my tournament, and I was talking about a situation that we were having problems finding the largemouth in the Ticonderoga region.
At 150. We're just getting guys driving by the garage.
That's the beauty of
doing
the radio show at the garage.
They're yelling out things into the garage about
the pickup truck. We might have to close
truck.
the garage door.
You know, I think we got to start getting like put up one of those velvet ropes, you know, like at the Grammys or something.
Exactly. Keep the chicks at bay.
That's it. All the groupies.
Yeah, I mean, she was beautiful.
I don't want to get into this, but guys,
what a hottie.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not signing those.
It's too bad she's 75 and has a mustache.
That doesn't mean a thing, Scotty.
It doesn't mean nothing. It's not about looks. It's about personality.
That's right.
Mike?
Beauty is not skin deep.
That's right. So back on track here.
Yeah.
I was talking to Dale, and he mentioned that because I went shallow, I went deep. I was looking for largemouth in both these areas, and high water conditions obviously, to me, led me to believe that maybe the fish had gone back into the trees.
Right.
We do have a caller actually on already. How did that happen so fast?
Oh, well. I think we're getting caught up in our conversation about water conditions here locally. I think our buddy Scotty should go into, or not Scotty, but Loïc should go into the introduction of our very special guest.
Yeah, get into that, Loïc, and we'll pick up where we left off a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so tonight we got a guest that, for if you're a musky fisherman, he doesn't need much of an introduction, but for the rest of the world that's listening in, he is the owner of the MuskyHunter and the host of the MuskyHunter television show, which is going now on their 8th year on the air on TV. Actually, something I was thinking about that today, and that's actually a longer time to be on TV than a lot of some Hollywood celebrities.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, the MuskyHunter himself, Jim Saric.
Here we go. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Great. How are you guys?
We're doing terrific. It's Friday night. The weather is fantastic here in Montreal, and we're running into the weekend, getting ready to do some fishing.
Not a bad plan at all.
No, not a bad plan at all. Jim, there's one question in specific, actually very specifically, that I wanted to ask you, and I'm looking forward to tonight. And that is, I don't think, and I've been involved in a couple of shows, but like putting the shows together with guys, being a guest on a show, etc. And I don't think everybody realizes what it goes into actually creating a series of fishing shows over the course of a summer, and all the work that goes into putting a complete show with fish together. And maybe I'd like you tonight, if you can, to give people a perspective of, you know, when you go out there and the wind's going left and the rain's going right and nothing's lining up, like what exactly goes into putting a series of shows together, a season of shows?
Well, I mean, you know, it's pretty easy, right? You just show up, the fish are there, you catch them, you hit the TV button, and it's all good. It's simple, right? It's really pretty easy, you know. And,
I gotta learn your secrets, Jim.
Yeah, right. No, it's, you know, we always joke and we say that, you know, filming television shows, fishing televisions is real easy when the actors show up, and the fish are the actors, obviously, you know, and you know, so it's easy when that happens, but, you know, we all fish. We all know that doesn't happen. That's not always reality, but it makes it easy. So, you know, what I do is, you know, I plan all my trips early in, like, January and February and early March. I kind of lay them out throughout the whole year. And you know, some people think, oh, well, you know, you've got people going out scouting waters, doing that, and that's really not the case, you know. Right. And I get some friends that I fish with. Some of them are guides, and so they're certainly dialed into a little bit more what's going on, so that certainly helps me in some destinations kind of get on the locational aspect of it better, but, you know, you still have to catch them, you know, when you're there. And so, yeah, I kind of plan based on weather conditions, when certain patterns normally kick in with different bodies of water, and I start filming in the end of April, early May, and I go all the way through middle of November is kind of the season, you know, when I'm filming my MuskyHunter television show, because I like to kind of let the viewer experience the whole season of the fishing season. And plus, you can do different things. I mean, and it's a lot more fun. I mean, it certainly would be relatively easier to pick one Canadian destination, for example, go to Lake of the Woods and spend a month or 3 weeks on Lake of the Woods, and I could probably film the entire series there, kind of thing. But it would all look the same, and it may not be that great. So, you know, I plan my shoots ahead of time, and then obviously I keep track of the weather conditions, what's going on. I contact friends or contacts I've got, what's happening with the bite. So when I roll in, I have some idea what may be going on or what may not be going on, and then, you know, and then you just kind of start fishing. And I have some theme or idea about what I want to talk about when I go there, maybe about how I'd like to catch them or some aspect of musky fishing, and I kind of go in with that kind of notion. But fishing, like we all know, I mean, you can start out thinking, oh, I'm going to catch them on top water on the rocks, and then you're catching them on crankbaits or soft plastics on weeds, and so you got to go a different direction, and you got to be willing to kind of move with that, you know.
Right. So the fish oftentimes can dictate where your show or that episode might go.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I try to get in a certain direction, but you know, the fish can change it, the weather conditions can change it, and you know, the one thing about TV too that's different is that, you know, you can't fish. You can't really film. I mean, you can fish in the rain, but you really can't film in a driving rainstorm. I mean, the equipment you've got covers for them and stuff, but still, you know, it's like taking your laptop out in the pouring rain and putting it in a plastic bag. I mean, no one feels really, really comfortable doing that, and you don't want the equipment to go down. So a lot of times you get delays because of weather when you could normally go out fishing. That's different. The analogy I tell people, filming a show is much like fishing a tournament for those of you who fish tournaments, and that it's, you know, the decisions you make, you know, on any given day as far as how you manage your time and sometimes you'll be fishing and I'll be filming and a shoot, and I'll say, if I stay and keep fishing these two spots all day, I know I'll get a bite. But I may want to gamble and go try a different pattern to maybe catch more than one, to try to catch 2 or 3. And sometimes I make that decision and it works and it's great and TV is easy, and other times I gamble and on getting that one bite and it doesn't happen, and that's bad. The only guy that's happy is the cameraman, because they get paid regardless if you catch them.
Right? Yeah. 1 day or 2 days on the water makes a big difference when it comes to writing checks at the end of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And so in a typical show, I give myself 2.5 days to film a show. So people see the show and they're like, well, geez, it looked like you caught them all in 1 day, and that doesn't always happen. There's times it does. There's times where I film shows and I get, every year there'll be 1 or 2 shoots where I'll get the whole show done in 6 hours, where I'll catch 6 or 8 fish, and that happens to me a couple times a year. And then on the flip side, there's also a couple shows that people never see as shows that I may go fish for 3 days and not catch one, or the wind will blow really, really hard 2 of the days and I can't even fish, and maybe I fish 1 day and come home, and those shoots are a bust, and that's part of it. But typically, I would say it's 2.5 days to make it right, and it's not just catching the fish, but you're trying to talk about content. You want to get underwater shots, you want to get different, all the camera operators, they've got the whole art aspect of it and want to make it visually really look good and everything. And so there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of downtime, but as a fisherman, which I am and all of you are, there's lots of times you're filming a show and you're like, I just want to go fishing. I don't want to be messing with this stuff. But for the good of the TV show, you got to step back and get the other
I hear you.
Well, from a bass fisherman's point of view, we're always under the impression that musky fishing means that you're going to put in a lot more time and catch a lot fewer fish, a lot less fish.
Yeah.
How does that make filming a TV show more challenging than let's say fishing for bass?
Oh, I certainly think it does, in from that aspect, because there just aren't as many muskies as there are bass, and or walleye for that matter, whatever. So certainly it makes it harder, and the muskies are certainly more significantly impacted by weather changes. A cold front may shut the bass down, and you still might get a handful of bites, but they're going to be small, and they might be smaller bites, but you still can kind of get it done. And when it comes to filming a show, even a bass show, you don't need 25 fish for the show to kind of get it done. You only need a handful sometimes, and muskie's the same thing. But on those tough days where you get the big cold front and the weather's good, you might be fishing for 1 bite that day, or maybe 2 bites that day, and that's just kind of the reality of it. And that's one of the reasons why I always give myself a 2.5 day time frame to kind of film these shows. A lot of times is because if you do get a tough condition, no matter how good a fisherman you are, there's times when the weather can trump you, and 1 of the 3 days could get ugly, weather-wise, and that may be the day you're only going to get 1 bite, or maybe 2 bites. And I like to think that I need like 4 fish or 5 fish to get a show done.
Okay.
That's it's very interesting. You were talking before, Jim, about how you'll get shows that you're done in 6 hours, but some shows actually never make it to the air because you just didn't get to see fish on a certain trip. Now, when I get together with a bunch of the Muskie boys and we talk about the MuskyHunter show, one thing that always comes up is how much of the footage or that you actually get that ends up on the cutting room floor. Like, have you ever had to cut footage of like a giant fish that you were so happy you had for the show, but something happened when you were reviewing the footage? Either the sound wasn't kicking in or anything. The video footage just got corrupted. Any stories like that? Does that happen often?
It doesn't happen often, knock on wood, as you just jinxed me now for the rest of the season. So,
good job, Loïc. Way to go now.
Yeah, right. Thanks a lot. It's just, how that motor runs great. It's the same kind of thing. There's certain things you really don't want to talk about. No, there's some fish I haven't used, not because maybe I had too much other footage. Never a big fish. I've always been able to use. I'm going to find a way to make a big fish make the show no matter what, if you can. But I've had a lot of smaller fish that didn't make the show. I had one where where we had an accident. See, I don't film on tape. I film on with these P2 cards, and so it's all like on hard drives and everything, and they're individual clips. Every time you press the play button, it films an individual clip, and much like you'd have on your computer or some of the other video cameras. And so, I had where one of the fish I had, it was a 50-incher that struck on a figure 8. It got deleted. And yeah, that's what I said the next morning. You know, that was probably the worst scenario.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because I can imagine, like, there's some places in the world that like the Mecca. If you try to go and film a show, and the Mecca is what a lot of us consider Georgian Bay. Mm-hmm. It's scary big. The bites are few and far between, but you know that you could put a 50+ pounder on TV. We think about those situations where you go take a trip there, you're there for a week and then some. In between the weather and other concerns, the last thing you'd want is to put a 50-pounder in and then someone deletes that footage.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and I've got good folks in that. You know, again, that's the only time in 8 years I've had anything like that kind of happen, and you know, and stuff. But you know, things do happen that way. But then that's the other part of it, why you kind of have to take care of your equipment. You got to watch how you're operating in the rain, and you know, sometimes in giant wind, you know, the audio gets really bad in giant winds, and you know, from there. But it's, you know, I mean, I really enjoy doing the TV show. It's a great thing, and it's really challenging, and I always learn a lot. You know, it's like it's every day on the water you learn something new. You think you're going to catch them one way, and you kind of have that pressure to make an adjustment on the water to, if they're not biting, to get them to bite. You know, it's not, you know, at the end of the day, if, you know, sometime if you're just on a fun trip and you had 25 muskies follow and you didn't catch any, you'd be like, oh, that's a great day. You know, I had a bunch of follows, but I didn't catch one, but I'll get them tomorrow. But, you know, I certainly appreciate that, but on the flip side, I do know my job is to try to produce a show, and so having the 25 follows doesn't really help me that much at the end of the day, you know. And
that's funny you say that, Jim, because every time I talk to Loïc, that's what he keeps telling me. Yeah, I had a lot of fish follow today, you know, but
just didn't quite bite it.
I got pictures of lots of baits and hook sets, but there's no fish.
Yeah, well, we told Loïc to shower before he goes out fishing.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that would help.
Maybe that would help, yeah. I don't know.
It does sometimes. And the other aspect, too, is that because you get fewer bites per muskies to make it tougher, is that, you know, a big part of it is do you boat those fish that you hooked or not? You know, there's a lot of times you'll hook a fish on a figure eight or a fish a nip, a lure halfway to the boat, and you kind of have, you know, if they get off, I mean, yeah, okay, you got, you know, 15 seconds of footage that's there, but that's, you know, you're not going to get a show around that. Even if you lose a giant fish, it's just, you know, a split second that goes in. So I've had some shoots are made or break. They're based on did you catch them or not. You know, I've had a shoot where I've had, you know, 8 bites and only boated 2 fish out of 8, and you know, you just didn't get it done, kind of thing. And those hurt a lot.
Yeah. Well, is there any
frustrating?
Is there any particular show, or is there anything that's ever happened in the show that made it difficult for you to film? Like, what were some of the scenarios that you just got out there and?
Yeah, like a hook. You know, someone getting hooked, or someone wiping out in a boat.
Fortunately, we haven't had that ugliness, that kind of thing happen. I think most of it's really been weather. I mean, I remember, you know, one trip where I woke up in the morning and I was like, what was that noise? And the wind ripped the door off the cabin. So I knew it was going to be a pretty bad day. And, but yet the lake had lots, in Minnesota, had lots of islands. So I tried to tuck around them. And, but still it was, you know, the spots you could fish were okay, but then you had to going between spots. There were just gigantic waves, and everything got wet, and it was cold, and so I've had multiple experiences like that where you just had, you know, tremendous. You know, wind is probably the biggest obstacle. You know, giant wind making it really difficult to fish spots that you know are holding muskies, and you can't get to them that day because it's windy, or you know, so you're trying to fish, doing something else, and you know, and you may not be as confident in some of the spots you're fishing because they're secondary spots or spots you're just fishing because you're going through the motions, hoping you get a bite, kind of thing. And you know, I have that happen every year.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought Jim was going to tell us, like, you know, he's got like a suic stuck in his leg.
Well, could you imagine? Those are big baits.
Well, no kidding.
You get a musky treble hook in your finger.
Well, Larry had 2.
Essentially bigger than your finger.
Yeah, Larry, everybody knows Larry. Larry had 1 or 2 of them stuck in his right hand, and Larry's right-handed, and he was telling us that he didn't have enough strength in his left hand to cut the hooks.
Really, because they're too thick.
They're too thick, right? And he gets, so he had to like step on it or something and get it out.
I'm sure Jim can attest over the years. Like getting the hook in a hand is one thing, but getting the hook in a hand while the other hook is attached to a 30-pound thrashing fish is another thing.
Oh, it may as well just rip your finger off.
Yeah.
I mean,
just shoot me, you know. But,
pretty much.
Crazy.
That's nasty.
But I mean, like without speaking extremes, just fishing for them. Like I know personally, being on the water many days in a row fishing for muskies, the carpal tunnel starts, the sore back. Like I'm beat up after many days in a row of fishing, and that's even if it's flat calm every day. It doesn't matter if I'm bouncing up and down in 3-foot waves. But like I look at MuskyHunter and I look at what Jim does throughout the season, year after year. You do this from, like you said, spring to winter pretty much. And what I'm curious is can you give us the 3 main things that you do to stay physically healthy during this whole process, to like not get beat up?
Yeah, I can give you again. I mean, certainly I can tell you that, you know, during the off season, I certainly train during the off season where I work out 3 to 5 days a week, you know, doing cardio stuff. I do some weight stuff and just, you know, you try to, you know, work your stomach. You don't want to get a bad back, so you got to work your shoulders. You got to stretch them out. So I do a lot of exercising during the off season. During the season, you know, I still try to do some stuff. I don't lift real heavy weights during the fishing season and stuff, but I still try to do some things, and so that's important. I think the second thing that's important is, you know, I do a lot of stretching, you know, with my hands and shoulders before I warm up. You know, like you can take your hands and put them palm down on a table, and then just stand up and where your hands are kind of bent 90 degrees kind of thing, where your palms are cut, and you stretch kind of the tendons and everything in your wrist to kind of prevent that carpal tunnel kind of thing, and you do a few hand stretches. That's real important with that. And you know, and I think the third thing that's kind of important, you know, to make it through the season is, you know, we all like to have a good time. You know, we get done fishing on any given day, but you really got to take care of yourself, I guess. Is the best way to put it. You know, that, you know, if you're on a trip, let's say it's a week-long trip, and you're having some late nights, like 2 or 3 or 4 late nights in a row, and then getting up and trying to musky fish all day, it will catch up with you as the trip goes on, and it will wreak havoc on your body. You know, doing it. You know, having a few too many cocktails, not sleeping, it will hurt you.
Do you ever find yourself taking like an afternoon siesta, like they would?
Loïc does that all the time.
Yeah, you know, the only time I do that is when sometimes when I'm fishing in some of the Minnesota lakes in the summer. These fish they're kind of on a crazy schedule where, you know, I'll catch them fishing between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. and then I really catch them fishing between, let's say, 7 p.m. and midnight. So you get on this goofy schedule where you're getting up at 4 to be on the water at 5, and you're fishing until 9, and then you kind of get something to eat, and then maybe you take a break, you know, take a nap for a couple hours, and you pop back up at 2 in the afternoon, and then you go out and you fish, and then you end up fishing till midnight or 1 in the morning, and you sleep for 4 hours and do that, and you do that for 2 or 3 days, and you need the afternoon sleep just to kind of get your system going, you know, regulate it a little bit to get some sleep, but you know, in some waters or some shoots, depending on the summer, and this hasn't been one of those summers because it's been a little cooler than normal, but on some of those really hot summers, some of these fish get in these really crazy feeding windows, and that's pretty hard.
Yeah, no doubt. In each episode, it seems as though you have a different guest or a different co-host with you. Would you say that fishing with all kinds of different musky anglers has helped you grow as an angler over the years?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, to me, the great thing about it, one of the great things about doing the TV show is and maybe it's the selfish part, was that, you know, I was really excited. I wanted to have a lot of my friends that I've known in the business and friends that I've fished for years, and it gives me an excuse to go fishing with them, right? So, you know, we're going to work, right? We're going to film a TV show, so I get this great opportunity to go fish with friends, which is great. But and many of the guys that I've known in the business, that, you know, they're from different parts of the country, different parts of Canada, and so you know, getting to fish with them is awesome, and they're awesome, and there is no question about it. Like any tournament bass fisherman would tell you the same thing. Having to go in the boat and fish with another pro, you just can't help but learn and pick up tips and techniques. And, you know, I get a chance to fish with some of the top musky fishermen throughout, you know, North America, and certainly over the last years I've learned a lot, you know, and it's been one of those things where, you know, you pick up little techniques, little subtle things, whether it be on a figure eight or working a lure or using a certain lure in a given situation, and then I've been able to kind of then relay that and do that in a different situation and in a different area and show other guides. And so it's kind of cool how it's all kind of bridged the gap in a lot of different techniques. And so it certainly has helped me a lot, and I certainly have become a better musky fisherman because of it.
It's interesting. You're absolutely right on the ball as far as talking about bass tournament anglers as well, because I can tell you by experience that since Scotty's been fishing with Mike, now he feels that he can tackle FLW events on a regular basis.
Ooh, that was a shot from Loïc.
Yeah, it was. Look at that.
Ouch. He took a shot at you in front of Jim Saric.
I know. I can't believe he did that.
What an embarrassing moment.
We're gonna have to edit that later on.
Yeah, we'll get that out of the show.
So it was great when I edit the show later before I put it up online on demand. I'm gonna make that pause that everybody had on my comment last 4 times longer.
Right. Jim, listen, I have one more question, and it's a question that men have been asking women for decades. When you're filming a fishing show, does size matter?
And the politically correct answer would be no, of course not. Of course not. And the truth of the matter is, it really doesn't. I really believe that. And personally, from an ego standpoint, I want to catch big ones, and there's a percentage of the hardcore musky guys that really want to see giant fish, and that's part of it. And I always strive for that, but there's some waters that I fish that just don't have a lot of big ones. If I'm fishing, for example, the Fox chain of lakes in Illinois, where you're really your odds of getting a 50-incher are pretty slim, but if you get a 45-incher, that's a pretty significant fish to catch. So you go and it's amazing how when I'm fishing any of the metropolitan areas, or I'll give you an example, like fishing the Kawarthas near Toronto, northeast of Toronto. I do a show fishing the Kawarthas. I get tons of feedback about that, even if I don't catch a fish bigger than 45 inches long. Right. I will get more input on that than I will on a show on Lake of the Woods where I catch a couple 50-inchers that go on from that. It's just it's amazing how that happens, and I think it's that people waters they're more familiar with. They understand kind of the type of fish that comes out there, and we all know what musky fishing is about. You don't always catch the giant ones, but having said that, you catch a 57-incher or something like that on film, and you get lots of response.
No, for sure. I think, and that's a good point, Jim. Because I've been a big fan of your show for a long time, to be honest. And there's some of your shows where when you're fishing like top waters and things like that, where you're getting these fantastic and crazy strikes on top of the water. To your point, we can't see the size of the fish, but the strikes are so violent that it makes a show in itself. The fact that you cover the entire season, I think, is very interesting on the same species. That's something we don't see on many shows anymore. Bass is one of the few species you also see it at, where you'll see the spring fishing in the States. You'll work into some shows on the summer fishing, midsummer patterns and fall patterns for the bass. Not so much the fall patterns, but more spring and summer.
There's not very much emphasis done on it. And
no,
the
correct.
Fact that you
he does it with musky, musky, which is just insane. Is been great to watch over the years. You're a great host. You do the way you I guess audio and describe the show as you go is fantastic, and it keeps your attention. So I like the show. It's great, and I'm a big fan. And don't give up. Keep it going, and we're gonna keep watching, and hopefully, Loïc will watch enough shows where he's actually gonna learn something, and we're gonna catch a fish.
Maybe he'll catch a fish.
We'll have a fish one day.
We'll stop hooking them for him.
Yeah. We see a whole bunch when we're bass fishing.
Well, absolutely.
This Loïc just can't hook them. So.
Well, listen, I can't keep diving behind the boat.
Yeah, I know.
Just to hook the fish for Loïc.
I know. Jim, we know that's enough of this tomfoolishness. It's Friday night, and we know you're a busy guy. Before we let you go, I want to say thank you on behalf of the listeners for showing up on tonight's show. We've got a whole bunch of people online right now listening live, and there's going to be thousands of people that are going to pick up this on the podcast. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of them, because we do the musky shows here and there. Your buddy Mike Hulbert sent me a message on Facebook this week to say hi to you. You couldn't make it down to go fishing with him, from what I understand, this week. But he said, look, if he's on the show, you're going to have a great time. So we thank you, and we give you the message from Mike. Is there any sponsors you'd like to give a shout-out tonight, Jim, before we let you go?
I've got a lot of great companies that I work with, and I don't want to rattle off them. I think one of my newest ones is Shimano with, Shimano and Loomis and Power Pro. We've got some great new products that we're working on. I'm excited for people to see them soon. So, I'm pretty excited about that and how it's all going to work out, from there. But, I just appreciate being on the show. Anytime you guys want to talk Muskie, get in touch with me, and I'm certainly willing to talk about it. I certainly love talking about it, and I'm just excited about, it just seems like all throughout Canada there's so many anglers that are getting into muskie fishing and realizing this isn't the fish of 10,000 casts, that you can catch them, and you can catch a lot of them, and it's a great thing.
No, for sure.
Actually, we're pointing out to the opposite. They're the fish of 10 casts, but once you've caught them once, twice, they don't show up anymore.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, Jim, listen, thanks again. We're gonna release Jim live, as we do every week out of our guest. We believe in catch and release.
Catch and release,
right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna let Jim out of the net. Jim, again, thank you very much. Have yourself a great weekend, and we will definitely be having you back on the show.
And we appreciate the time that you've taken out for us.
Yep.
No problem. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Jim. Bye.
There you go. One of the legends of muskie fishing.
Absolutely, and what a great interview. I think he gave us some good insight.
Yeah, well,
on
what's
what
involved?
filming a TV show is all about.
Yeah, it's not.
And I honestly, I think whatever he said can equate somewhat to bass fishing. Also.
For sure, to tournament fishing.
Tournament fishing, bass fishing, weather. All these things are very very valid points and things that a host,
we're gonna
TV host
now Loic's all excited. We'll let him go have a cigarette. And we'll play a commercial.
We'll be put your pants back on, Loic. Come on.
We'll be
guys, I'll be right back.
We're gonna take a minute on a commercial break here.
We haven't taken a commercial.
That's right.
We're gonna be short on bills here.
We'll be back in a second.
Evinrude outboard motors with E-Tech technology are designed to keep you on the water doing what you enjoy and not sitting in the shop. 3 years or 300 hours before you need to service your Evinrude E-Tech power plant. 2-stroke power combined with the economy of a 4-stroke. For those dedicated to water, power, fishing, and fun. Evinrude, official motors sponsor of Mike and Scott's BS Session.
There you go. E-Tech.
Yes, sir.
E-Tech. Yeah.
My E-Tech is running so good right now.
Isn't it great?
It's awesome.
It's incredible. I was talking to Claude today up at Maple Grove.
Yeah.
And he said, so how's it going? I said, have you heard from me? No.
That's it.
He's like the Maytag man.
Yeah, it's poor Claude.
I have yet to service my E-Tech. It's awesome.
It's crazy. It's insane.
It is.
It's nuts.
We get out there, we make a big hoopla, we get the motor put on,
and then it's goodbye. See you later.
Yeah, we abandon him.
Yeah, we abandon him.
I wonder if he feels abandoned.
He does. He feels neglected.
I think he's got to take on another line.
Yeah.
He's got to take on the black ones, just so that he's got some activity over there.
Ooh, there's a shot over the bow. There's a shot over the bow. Yeah. Speaking of dealers, my boat's the Bullet is up at Gary Gossard's a fishing tech. Gary is installing a Lowrance HDS touch system for me, and it's ready. So I'm picking it up first thing tomorrow morning, and I'm going to hit the water.
You should hit the books first, because you got to read the manual.
No, I know how to do. I'm not old and decrepit like you. I'm up on computer things, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and Loïc are like state of the art.
Right.
Yeah. We got this nailed down.
Excuse me.
Yeah. That's okay. That's all right. Do you still have that flasher thing you use?
Is there anything else?
Whoa. Is there another? Flashers are great, guys. Don't tease the flashers.
Yeah, he's still got a flasher, Loïc.
I love flashers.
I turn off the side imaging setting, and I put the flasher on.
Oh, okay. I got you. You obviously didn't have it on last week, though. Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh, what happened last week?
Oh, well, I'll let Scotty tell you.
Oh, we talked about it already on a previous show.
Better known as Scotty the Butcher. Yeah.
Did you show up with a bag of white Smallies?
Yeah, they were all belly up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the white bucket live well.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I looked at my co-handler. I said, you know what? We won't have a whole shot problem because we'll just empty all the water out of the live wells.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, he had some live fish issues.
But that's another thing that anglers or tournament anglers or anybody who's catching fish and then releasing them later on in the day should consider when you're going out there and it's really, really hot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this was a problem when I had my fish. My fish seemed to have been injured through the process of catching
the hooking.
them. The hooking.
Right.
But I'm sure if I had my water temperature in my live wells well below 80 degrees, it may have helped.
Yeah, it would have fine.
Because
the water just got too hot.
86 degrees.
Yeah, it just got too hot. It's crazy. It's like you cooked them.
Essentially, yeah.
You cooked them. That's what happens, and that's why when guys turn their live well onto recirculate,
right,
that's where you kill your fish. What you've got to do
is not bringing fresh water in. Keep
correct.
the water that's in there
there.
Yeah. And just aerate that water.
That's it, aerate it. And
you know what? Day one, I had a conversation with Pete Gusick.
Right.
And he had a hard time on day one keeping some of his fish alive because it's an aggressive bite. When they were taking the lures, they were taking them in deep.
Yeah.
And then, so we were talking at the motel, and I mentioned to him, well, I don't know, I only told him what I had heard through other pros about the Bass Cat live wells. Is you can put so much water in those things that there's no need for you to bring in fresh water.
Right.
Just turn that water over on itself, aerate that water, and you should be fine.
Right.
And I'm not sure if that's, part of what the issue he had. But I know going into day two, I changed the water all day long. And I don't know why I went against what I already knew.
Right. But for some reason.
For some reason, I thought that I was having, I don't know, when it started to go bad, I started to panic and try and do different things. The reality is I probably should have just kept that same water in there.
Yeah, and just kept going.
And kept going.
There you go. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Right? Lesson learned.
Not to mention, though, you're running in 4 and 5 foot waves. Right?
Yeah, and they're getting beat around in the live well,
they're getting beat around, but by the time you get to your next spot, your boat's been on a 45-degree angle for so long that half the water's run out.
Well, you can just shut it.
No, it drains out of the top plug.
Oh, the top, the hole, the overflow. The overflow, yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. That's true.
So,
Scotty, there's some great tournaments coming up here. You would have bring the people up to speed here?
Well, tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow is the Econo Bass in Cornwall.
That's right. You got to check it out. Good luck to all the contestants. Our good buddy Ben Wu, who's
up there.
He's on a big bite.
He's on a big bite. Yeah. My buddy Philip Lefebvre, the guy who bought my Bass Cat boat.
Phil is there. Phil's in number one.
He's number one right now.
He's the guy to reckon with.
Yeah, he's got a bullseye on his back.
Nice. But that's the way you want to be, man.
That's it. Yeah, that's a great place to be. It is. He's got a good game plan going into it. I talked to him today. I saw him today.
Yeah? Is he on to something good?
He's not on to something great.
Right.
But he's on to a pretty consistent bite.
Well, right now, he's leading Team of the Year.
Team of the Year.
So, he could win it all.
He could. Mind you, there's still many tournaments left. I think they have.
No, there's only 2. There's tomorrow, and then they have 1 left. One left. And then it's the Classic.
There's
tomorrow and 1.
2 season tournaments.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting. And we're waving more people going by the garage. Yeah. The garage is such a popular place.
It is.
It's like the Mecca of fishing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're on the corner.
Yeah, of the Mecca.
This
is the Mecca.
It is.
Yeah. It's a dangerous place for Scotty to be with all the talkers.
The Fishing Canada Ripple on the Richelieu, which my good buddy Loïc, who did some recording of video, if you saw it, the last Ripple on Lake St. Louis.
Yeah.
Crazy video. It was great. Now Loïc is going to go super duper HD professional with a script and everything. I can't wait to see what's going to come out of the Richelieu Ripple. I'm looking forward to that. August 3rd, Richelieu River, Guimaillé, Pouvoirie, Guimaillé. Get signed up for this. Last year,
what
no
day is
less.
That? Saturday?
I think it's a Saturday, yeah.
Did you find a partner for that yet?
I don't know if I'll be fishing it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't be fishing it yet. But you're not here.
No, I'm fishing the Lake Oneida tournament.
You're on the Oneida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I should be coming back Saturday night, I guess.
Yeah, I would think. I hope.
I qualified day
I hope.
3.
I'm hoping you are not here for Saturday.
I'm hoping I'm not here for Saturday.
That's right.
Either.
So last year, no less than 3 6-pounders weighed in at the Richelieu. 3.
Do you think it's going to be similar in terms of conditions? Have you fished a Richelieu this year?
Yes, I have fished it. The conditions are not the same.
Water levels are much higher.
The water are much higher. The weed growth is there, though.
Yeah.
We got weed. We got weed. We got weed, dude.
Yeah, don't
we got
don't
weed.
call it narcotics.
We got weed. But no less than 3 6-pounders were weighed in last year for the lunker.
Ridiculous.
It was huge tanks. So I'm really excited to get this one going and see some more Loïc's video. We had a ball with some of the interviews and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. Loïc, we're going to announce this week the Navionics winner. Who is it, my friend?
We reached the 400 likes, and we drew the winner, and his name is Larry. Get ready. White. Larry White. Congrats. Larry White. Yes,
Woo-hoo.
sir.
Larry is going to have.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Larry's going to have the Navionics phone app.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that, or if he doesn't have one, he'll get to gift it to his nephew or something.
Yeah, somebody's going to get an Navionics phone app, and I can tell you right now that they came up with an update today, 4.8.2 or 4.10.2 on the iPhone app. The detail on an iPhone app is crazy now.
Well, it's just as detailed as the sonar.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's got everything. It's got tracking. It's got updated fish location.
Yeah.
You can get other people's spots, whoever's downloaded their spots.
Correct.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I tricked Gary Gosselin today.
Yeah.
To back up all his waypoints and put them on my sonar.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
I got all of Gary's waypoints.
I think I'm going to be borrowing your sonar chip for...
It's not on the chip.
Oh, then I'm coming in with a blank chip.
You know from mistakes.
Yeah.
It's on the unit.
Yeah, I
know. Not on the chip.
Yeah, that's happened.
Starting to learn the hard way, Loïc.
More recently than.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to 400 likes. Was it just me? But we got to 400 likes in a zip.
That was quick. Absolutely. I'm thinking it's time we should do another contest, but this time we should aim at doubling that.
Oh, great. Will you stop giving away our stuff?
Yeah, he takes it upon himself.
He's just giving away stuff.
Hey, listen, Loïc, if we don't give it away, we get to keep it, buddy.
Yeah, but you guys are full of gadgets. You're fine. I'm not worried about you guys. I say we go for 800 likes, and on this one, Mike, let me use your credit card.
Ooh.
To go and get some goodies.
This is going to hurt.
Yeah.
I want to go get some
that
goodies.
old gold card.
Yeah. This one's going to hurt. What do we give away?
I got my shopping list done. I got the shopping list. I got it. Okay, so we're going to start with a Navionics iPhone app. Why not?
Yeah,
start
sure,
since it's been we've been doing that. So we could probably follow that with an Ego 2 Boga grip.
Oh Christ!
How about that?
I thought I was going to get to keep that one.
Wait a second. I'm not talking about a used one you have in your garage. I'm talking about getting a brand new one for a lucky winner.
I give him the last new one.
I'm supposed to get the last one.
I ain't getting it now.
And how about... Okay, now hold on.
Wait a minute. You're going to give away more?
Yeah, we're going to give away more. Scotty, are you... when are you giving up your bass cat? No, I'm not going to... That's not good. We're not going to do that.
When Mike puts the new one on his credit card.
How about a St. Croix rod?
I think that's a great idea.
Well, of course you would, because it's coming out of my pocket. Yeah, okay. I'll throw in a St. Croix rod. I'll throw in a St. Croix rod.
And we have to absolutely make sure that St. Croix rod comes with a neoprene professional series rod glove.
Holy Christ!
What's
next? A boat?
Look, we're cutting out. We got bad.
Yeah, I got bad connection.
You guys can ask all you want. When you see that banner show up on Monday or Tuesday morning, it's done. I just hope your card doesn't. I hope your card doesn't bounce.
Yeah. We got to take away some control of this guy.
You got to change some passwords.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do it.
Banner access. kind of thing.
Yeah.
So 800 likes. You're saying it's going to cost me an iPhone app, an Ego 2 Boga grip, some rod gloves,
a rod glove,
and St. Croix rod.
You know what? I kind of like where you're going with this, Mike. More than one rod glove would be nice.
I knew that's your fault.
How about we give like a backup one? Like you give one with the rod and like another backup one. Like I don't know. Could we get like some of the nicer ones?
I got a rod glove.
Yeah.
Okay. The original rod glove.
Right.
With the Bass Cat logo on it, ready to go. I'll throw that in.
You'll throw that in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Scott, your generosity just baffles me. I'm so happy.
His generosity is only surpassed by his facial disfigurement.
That explains the stalkers online we've been getting.
That's right.
Oh,
here you go.
Ouch.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it. 100 likes, and you get a Navionics iPhone app, an Ego 2 Boga grip, rod gloves, a St. Croix rod, and then you get to go fishing.
Yeah.
Whoa, what was that last?
Yeah. Hold on.
I think we need a commercial break.
Let's take a commercial break.
Let's take a commercial break and we'll wrap this. We'll wrap this puppy up.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're. Give me something. Hit me.
Bass Cat Boats builds a total performance bass boat that will fit your needs and budget. From the Margay to the Jaguar, Bass Cat will have you covered, no matter your type of fishing or the body of water you call home. For a sure bet on where to spend your hard-earned money, you owe it to yourself to look at Bass Cat. Look them up at www.basscat.com.
There you go. I think you should hit.
I think that iced it just a little bit.
You should hit up the boss man for a Margay.
Yeah, sure. We'll just give away a Margay.
We'll give away a Margay.
I'm sure. Yeah, that'll go over well.
What the hell? I think Loïc should throw in a day's guiding for Muskie.
I don't guide.
You know?
You guys just said it yourselves. What kind of terrible prize is that? Like, I can't even catch one. Even when I'm bass fishing, I don't see them.
No, but this is the whole idea. Once they spend the day on the water with you,
they'll start bass fishing again.
They'll start bass fishing.
Listen, Loïc, this has been a great show.
Yes.
So thanks for coming on and organizing all this.
Hold on a second. We should make sure I get this straight. So that's at 800 likes, Loïc. We got to get 800 likes for that.
Yes.
All right. So that's going to take like 6 months.
Yeah, we got time to bank.
But that's okay. That means you'll have time to pay off your credit card bills, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Let's go back to work. I think I'm going to work on overtime this weekend.
I think I'm going to, when I go pick up my boat at Gary's at Fishing Tech tomorrow, I'm going to ask him if he's got any side work at the weekend I can do.
I'm going to do a few extra hours at Walmart.
Yeah, you're a security guard at Walmart.
I'm a security guard at Walmart now. Yeah, sideline.
There you go. We're going to do a couple of shout-outs here to all our buddies and friends at Team Evinrude, Jill Johnson, Cynthia Bichette, and Pierre Roulette. What a great bunch down that we have down there on the Evinrude family. Steve, the boss man, Bosley from Bass Cat. Steve,
he's at the tournament. He's at the dealer meeting now up in Arkansas. Yeah,
very nice.
They're going over what's new for 2014. So I'm anxious to have a little listen in on what's going to be happening for the new coming year.
Could be maybe a guest on a future show to give us some insight, right?
Could be, yeah.
That'd be very nice. Rachel Chouinard, Navionics, thank you very much, Ross, for keeping us busy, both on and off the water. Scott over at Zico Shoes, and of course our good buddy Gary Gosselin over at Fishing Tech. I don't know what I'd do without him, and I don't know what anybody would do without him. I had 3 people come by this week, all looking for stuff. They're all gone their way to Fishing Tech to get their pro controls for their trolling motors. They're getting all the stuff going. Their clip-ons for the motor doesn't go left and right. Gary's got all the great stuff.
Yeah. So. Ego 2 nets.
Yeah, Ego 2 nets. We got to get them
the
going.
The rod gloves, power poles. Keep your boat locked down.
Yeah, where are you reading? All
I'm not reading that. These are all things we have to do.
Oh yeah, we have that coming up.
I know. Well, hey, listen.
Yeah, Gary. Okay, so. Now it's sponsor recognition.
Okay, excuse me.
So go ahead, scream and yell.
Well, I just went K-Way Outdoors.
Yeah.
Get your K-Way on.
Yep.
Keep you dry from all the wet weather we've been getting lately. This summer has been one of the wet ones.
There you go. Sims Baits.
You put me on the spot. The Baits of Glory. Yeah, there you go.
That's
Get
right.
Sims on.
You got it. Navionics, making sure you get back on both water and land.
Power poles.
Nothing holds your boat stronger than the power pole anchors. Just ask Loïc. He's still stuck in the middle of Lake St. Louis.
Mustang Survival. They save lives for a living.
Yes. Look them up at www.mustangsurvival.com. And I think, Loïc, you use a Mustang Survival jacket, if I'm standing correct.
Absolutely. Love it.
There you go. Attaboy.
And you can find us on iTunes in the podcast section under Mike and Scott's BS Session.
Yes.
Also, blogtalkradio.com for your laptop or desktop.
www.fishingcanada.net. And the WRVO Radio Network.
Don't get it wrong. Reno's going to give us a call.
Yeah, I know. Located at www.renoviolaoutdoors.com.
And Spreaker.com. Look for the Fishing Canada Radio.
Yep. They also have a mobile app.
Yeah.
There you go. It is 8:28. We get about a few seconds left here to close this puppy down. Loïc, are you on the water this weekend, or are you on to-do list, the honey-do list?
I'm on the honey-do list this weekend.
You're a
no
lucky
water
man.
for me, unfortunately. That's the way it rolls.
That's the way it rolls this weekend. That's
good man. Take care of the honey.
That's it. Happy wife, happy life. That's what they say, right?
I wouldn't know.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy, your life was unhappy. There you go.
No more wife, happy life.
That's right. Oops.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that.
We gotta go. I gotta go.
All right, Loïc, thanks for being part of the show this week, buddy. Great job again. We're looking forward to hooking up for the more video, HD video on that August 3rd tournament, Ripple. It's going to be a blast for sure. And good luck to all our buddies on Econobass tomorrow. Bonne chance. Be safe out there, and tight lines and big bags of fish. We'll be talking to you over the weekend, Loïc. And Scotty, it's time to punch a card on this one.
Let's do it.
This one's a wrap. Here we go.
This one's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can subscribe on iTunes, the WRVO Network, Spreaker.com, www.blogtalkradio.com, and www.fishin-canada.net. See you next time for another BS session.